14 events in 5 continents over an 11-month period, with tests and recce's in between, makes a punishing schedule for all the teams, drivers and personnel. With every kind of surface, from dry tarmac to loose gravel, and every kind of weather, from Swedish snow to safari sunshine, those who can call themselves World Rally Champions have earned their title the hardest way there is.
Actually 6 weeks before an event we're looking at an event test. So 5 to 6 day event test.
With weather, road conditions and even basic geography so vastly different from one round to another, pre-event testing is a vital ingredient of a championship campaign.
We just do some last preparation to the rally. Some little suspension work, some diff work and some tyre test.
But also around this test we're deciding the technical spec of the car for the event, and also the tyre choice. Tyres have to be nominated now 4 weeks before a European event, 8 weeks before an overseas event, so that influences the time of the test.
Modern technology can be a double-edged sword, never more so than when it comes to tyre choice. There's a huge variety of constructions and compounds available at every one of the 14 rounds.
For all the different types of events that you can get in the full World Championship, we have 14 basic types of tyre. For tarmac, for snowy events, for smooth gravel and for rough gravel. And those basic patterns, they break down into different compounds and constructions according to the event itself, and that can be very, very specific.
The real tyre decision will be taken by the people of Michelin who are involved in the team, and they will get the last information about the stage from our gravel crews. These people are going over the stage 2 hours before closing time of the stage, so when it is dry and during the recce it was wet, they will tell us the condition of the stage is like that, and then the people of Michelin, they will make a final decision for the tyre choice.
Tarmac events, we have 3 basic types of tyres. We have what used to be the slick, which is now the dry weather tyre, which now has to have a certain amount of grooving in it. We have an intermediate pattern as well, for damp stages, and a wet pattern, full wet pattern, which we haven't here, but which is used with for standing water and heavy rain. Snow rallies, that's where we have the widest range, I would say, of patterns anyway, because winter rallies are rarely 100% snow. This, for example, which is a studded racer for stages which perhaps haven't got a lot of snow, but when you get up to the top of the hills you need studs and a deep pattern to get through. Otherwise you have full snow patterns, you have an intermediate between this one here and a full snow. It's a very complicated event to run as far as tyres are concerned. Well, gravel rallies make up the majority of the championship, of course, and they can be broken down into 2 distinct categories. You have smooth gravel events and rough gravel events, in events like the Safari and the Acropolis Rally. And the Michelin ZB is our mainstay rough gravel tyre, and they can even be cut, hand cut by the technicians before the start of a stage according to driver preference, to try and open up the pattern to clear the gravel if they feel they need to.
Tyres are checked for conformity. Very, very frequently the tyres are marked as the car leaves every service park. to control A, the number, and B, the type of tyre used. Those are checked as the car leaves and the car returns to the service park.
Planning the championship campaign is an intricate jigsaw in which the team has to select its pieces and ship them weeks in advance so they're in the right place at the right time, sometimes half a world and half a year away.
Normally about 45 people. They're made up from 20 mechanics, the rest are management, engineers, doctors, physiotherapists, gravel crews, motorhome people. On a rally you have the team principal.
Well, my job is to represent Mitsubishi, the manufacturer.
And then you have the team manager.
Team manager looks after the overall field operation, the organisation of the event from start to finish at the base and in the field, from freight to travel, to liaison on the sporting side with the organisers, to making sure that we're testing on the right roads, the route. Basically it's a fairly vast field to be covered, and I have two assistants to help me.
Then underneath them the head mechanic is in charge of all the mechanics. And between those 3 or 4 people, they work together to collate and to give all the information and general jobs that have to be done on the rally.
While the drivers and co-drivers check the layout of every stage, the technicians examine road surface and weather, and the rest of the crews look for service halts and refuelling points.
The event itself starts off with either a confirmation test, or which can be 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days, and then straight into the recce.
We have normally 2.5 days before the rally. We have recce. We can do all the stages twice. We do the recce in a special car prepared for doing the recce. It's a model similar like the rally car, but Group N version. And every day we do a couple of stages. We can recce twice, and then me and Freddie, we write our notes down. So we will say start, and then we are using meters. It's going from 10 meters to 200, 300, 500 meter. We are using only 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So always it will be, it never will be 62 meters, so it will be always an easy number. And then after he will tell me left or right, and on the same time he will tell me the speed from the corner. It's starting from 40 to 180, and normally 180 will be flat out, and he also will put an angle in the speed, so it means it's never only the speed. He never will say only 80 km an hour. He will tell me 81, 2 or 3. 81 it's the speed of the corner and also the angle. 82 it's the speed but more a tighted corner, and 83 it's like a 90-degree corner to left or right. It's a little bit the same system that they are using on the watch. So the 1, 2, 3 of the watch, and 4 it means a hairpin, a big hairpin, and then a tight hairpin, it's only like a hairpin. I think the recce is like maybe 80% of your result in the rally. If you have a good recce, you have to be very concentrated also, because you only have 2 passes now, that your notes are excellent, that they are up to date, that you don't miss some small things there, because these small things will cost you maybe seconds in the rally, and this will cost you maybe places in the classification. So it's very important.
When the team and cars arrive on site for an event, the shakedown is the last chance they'll have to make sure everything is as it should be. After this comes the rally itself, with no more second chances.
As the recce finishes, we're basically straight into shakedown for the rally cars. That's a process of the rally cars themselves being just checked that everything is as per the vehicle test.
Normally all the cars are new, or the parts are brand new, so it needs a small run-in before everything is working 100%. And that means we will do 40-50 kilometer shakedown to make also the last final tuning before we go, before we will start the rally.
Scrutineered, stamped and approved, the cars take their turn on the start ramp, and after this, the clock is always running, and every second counts until the finish, 3 days from now.
Yeah, from there, it's basically the event starts. So we have weather crews, gravel crews are going out ahead of the cars. The service crews, of course, head off to the service parks. The doctors, the restart crews take the drivers to the start, then also head out to the service parks. Weather crews are reporting back to us the weather information, the gravel crews, the stage surface conditions, so we can establish the best choice of tyres, the best suspension setting for any group of 2 stages. Generally speaking, it's either 1 or 2 stages per group of stages between service.
Even the road sections, the non-competitive part of the route that takes the cars from one piece of the rally to the next, are run by the stopwatch, and there is no room for error here either.
Road time is normally the time that you can have between 2 time controls. So it can be the time control of a stage into the time control of a next stage, or the time control of a stage to the time control of a regroup or a service park.
It's like we have a time slot, what always is moving with us, so we really have to respect our time, not go in too early, because that's 1 minute full penalty, and not go in too late, because that can be a few seconds road penalty.
The special stages can be run on tarmac, gravel, snow or sheet ice. Night or day, over mountain top or jungle valley, even on everyday roads that are closed for the occasion, this is pure competition at its highest level.
The sequence normally is you arrive at the yellow board, you prepare yourself, you put your helmet on, you get out of the car, then you release the pressure in the tires, you put them on like a 2 kilogram 2 bar or something, and then I go into the time control. When it's my time, I wave the car in, I give my time card, they mark it, I put myself in the car, put my seat belts on, connect myself to the peltor box, and then I can talk with Freddy.
And then we normally have to wait for 2-3 minutes. He's explaining me what has been changed from the recce until the rally, and that last information he has from the gravel crew, so he can explain me they put a big stone there, or they put some tape there, so the last final tuning on the stages, and then the last second is just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go.
Let's say 20 minutes, for example, being concentrating, giving the pace notes, and then one time we go through the wet flying finish board. Then again, I take my responsibility. I have to give the time card, they mark my time. I communicate it over the radio to our team manager. He will communicating me the other times of the other competitors, and then I can see where we are in the classification. And in the meanwhile, I look to the road book to get us to the next stage or the next service point in time.
Predetermined intervals, Here and only here in the service halts, the technicians get the chance to bring the cars back to original specification, changing anything and sometimes everything except the engine and the body shell.
There are 3 different types of service park, numbered 1, 2 and 3. A type 1 service park is a 20-minute service park or a 45-minute end-of-day service park, the big service where we'd make the largest maintenance schedule on the car. At those service parks, we're allowed to basically change anything within the component restrictions of the FIA regulations. That is 1 turbo per leg. So on a given event, we could have as many as 3 different turbochargers on the car. We're allowed to change a gearbox, a diff, any diff, in fact, so centre, front or rear diffs, or a gearbox in any type 1 service park. Type 2 service park is 10-minute early morning service park. So after Parc Fermé, the cars will drive out, and somewhere before the first stage, they get a 10-minute service park. At this service park, you're allowed to do nearly any action except change the gearbox or the front or centre diffs, and also of course you can change tyres for the first stage. Type 3 service park is a service park where you're not allowed to change any gearbox item. You can do 10 minutes of work on the car other than that, and you're not allowed to change tyres. There's also a GPS monitoring system within the cars to check the car's position and whether any of the doors or bonnet boot are opened, in which case, if they were shown to be that, the GPS system that's within the car is constantly transmitting the position and condition of that car to the FIA scrutineers. They would always be in either a fast intervention vehicle or a helicopter, and they would go and physically check that vehicle. They're usually in the vicinity of the leading cars.
It looks complicated, and it is. The truly global scale of this championship makes it tougher, more complex and more challenging than any other motorsport series anywhere in the world. And that's what keeps so many people, teams and manufacturers and spectators coming back for more year after year.